They said she was broken. They said she would never walk free again. But no one could have guessed that the frail woman in chains, the one dragging her bare feet across the dirt of a prison yard, would one day return in uniform, carrying a rifle, leading men who had once doubted her. It begins in silence, the kind of silence only captivity teaches you. Imagine waking up every day behind rusted bars, the sun slicing across your face through cracks in the concrete, your name forgotten, your past erased, your future buried. She wasn't supposed to survive in there, let alone escape. Yet survival is a stubborn fire, and hers burned hotter than the men who locked her away could have imagined. She had been taken during a raid. An interpreter, not even a combatant, caught in the sweep of soldiers who saw every local as a suspect. Shackled, starved, mocked. She was left in a prison where women didn't live long. Days bled into weeks, weeks into years. Her fingernails turned to claws. Her voice withered, but her memory did not. Every corner of the prison, every guard's shift, every weak point in the walls, she mapped it all silently, as if planning not just an escape but a rebirth. Her fellow captives whispered that she was cursed, that her quiet eyes saw things they couldn't. She never argued, she simply observed, until the night came when opportunity met her patience. A storm rolled across the desert, the kind that tore tin roofs from their frames and drowned out the world with thunder. She knew the guards would huddle in the tower, distracted. She had been waiting for a storm like this for 2 years. With a piece of wire stolen from a mop bucket, she worked at her cuffs until her wrists bled raw. One click, then another. Freedom, no louder than a breath. She slid across mud and broken glass, moving like a shadow. She didn't just run, she hunted. One guard too drunk to notice her became her disguise. His jacket, his rifle, his boots. By dawn, she was gone, leaving behind nothing but an empty cell and a trail of disbelief. The world expected her to disappear, to vanish into some refugee camp, nameless and forgotten again. But she carried something more dangerous than anger. Memory. She remembered every face, every insult, every day the guards treated her as less than human. And when she stumbled into the camp of an American patrol, her hair matted, lips cracked, eyes hollow, she didn't beg for rescue. She demanded a uniform. At first they laughed. How could a prisoner, a woman they had written off as collateral, become a soldier? But war has a way of reshuffling belief. She had something no man in that camp possessed. Knowledge of the prison, its guards, its supply routes, information paid for in scars. Her training was not graceful. She fainted on long runs. Her hands shook when she first held a rifle. Yet she never quit. The sergeant who doubted her admitted one night in the barracks, "She doesn't know how to stop," and maybe that was true. Maybe survival had burned quitting out of her soul. The twist came when she returned not as a victim, but as a weapon. Her unit was tasked with raiding the very prison she had escaped from. The men thought it was madness. She thought it was destiny. The night they moved, her heart didn't race. It slowed. Every corner, every crack in the wall, every tower's blind spot, she knew them better than she knew her own reflection. She led the way, her voice steady, commanding. The same guards who once barked orders at her now panicked under her fire. One of them, a man with a jagged scar across his cheek, recognized her. His mouth opened, but no words came. The last sound he heard was the echo of her rifle. The cells burst open, women stumbled into the light, chains rattling. She called them sisters, and cut their bonds with the same wire that had once freed her. Tears streaked through dirt-stained faces as they realized who she was. Not a ghost, not a rumor, but proof that survival could become vengeance, and vengeance could become freedom. When the prison fell, she didn't smile. She didn't raise her fists. She simply stood in the yard where she had once shuffled barefoot, now in boots and body armor, and whispered, "Never again." The world later painted her as a legend. Newspapers called her the woman who came back with a gun. Politicians used her story as a rallying cry. But she never cared for speeches or medals. Her mission wasn't about glory. It was about making sure no one else vanished the way she had. In the quiet after the battle, one of the younger soldiers asked her how she endured it all. The chains, the years, the silence. She looked at him with tired eyes and said, "They thought a cage could hold me. They never understood. Prison only sharpens the blade. And that is how a nameless prisoner became a soldier, not just in uniform, but in spirit. The woman who escaped didn't just reclaim her life. She turned it into a weapon. Her story reminds us, some people are buried alive and still claw their way back. Some wars aren't fought with bombs or bullets, but with patience, memory, and a refusal to break. And sometimes the most dangerous soldier on the battlefield is not the strongest, but the one who is never supposed to return.